guys, and welcome to episode 6 of Culturally Booksmart with Shauntea Lewis. Today, we're going to explore the lives of female Ugandan child soldiers in the realistic fiction novel We the Kindling. Over the past week, I spent time reading the novel We the Kindling, and it made me feel anxious, sad, and frustrated. So, reimagined in the lives of Helen, Maggie, and Lucia, the novel sheds light on how violence and the brazenness of war can affect the identity, safety, and future of a child. So, located in Uganda, the novel takes place following the establishment of Museveni's government on January 26, 1986. However, the inauguration of Museveni's government led to the insurgence of the oppositional group, the Lord Resistance Army. The Lord Resistance Army was led by Joseph Kony and was governed under the belief that the Ugandan government should follow the religious doctrines of Christianity. To fulfill this belief, military optimization was a priority for the Lord Resistance Army, and to achieve this, children were kidnapped and forced into adopting the violent mission of the Lord Resistance Army, also known as LRA. Even though Joseph Kony indirectly plays a role in the lives of the characters, it is important that I provide you with historical context so that you have an understanding of the key actors of the LRA. In the opening of the book, the author Otoniya Bitek uses the folklore story Monkey Salt to allude to the presence of the Lord Resistance Army and to commence the narration of Helen's experience as a child soldier. The folklore Monkey Salt is based on a story of a catfish that invites a monkey to dinner. On the surface, the catfish invitation seems innocent. However, this is proven to be untrue. Through conversation, the catfish expresses his sinister intentions to the monkey, stating that he plans to eat the monkey for dinner. Fortunately, the monkey is able to use his cunningness as a defense mechanism. Specifically, the monkey persuades the catfish to bring him or her home so that he or she can get monkey salt to help with his or her tenderization process. Fortunately, once the catfish brings the monkey back home, the monkey is able to escape and never return. To allude to a similar presence, the author opens the chapter saying, "It was October in 1996 when we children heard there were catfish in the area, but the rumors felt scarier than the catfish themselves." This opening alludes to the Lord Resistance Army and foreshadows their close proximity to Helen's all-girls boarding school. This foreshadowing becomes a reality after the LRA attacks Helen's school and Helen is taken captive like the monkey in the folklore. The narrator describes this attack stating, "Glass broke, all the windows were broken, the catfish were breaking down the dormitory walls. The catfish was tall, big, and imposing. Several catfish rushed in and grabbed our arms, tying our hands together as if we were under arrest." Through the use of imagery, we're able to visualize Helen's journey and understand what these soldiers look like. According to Helen, some of the catfish were young, very young, perhaps 12 years old. The ones heaved their guns, the barrels looking as if they might scrape the ground behind them. But all the catfish managed to keep their guns off the ground. They wore ragged army uniforms. These were not government soldiers, as if we needed confirmation. Some catfish wore their hair in braids the way girls do. Their eyes were red as if they were high, as if they were possessed or mentally disturbed. Helen's description of these child soldiers perfectly captures what these child soldiers look like and illustrates the deluded state of these kids. I say deluded because according to Helen, the kids look possessed. But I think Helen's use of the word possessed is to hint to the miseducation and manipulation of the child soldiers. So even though these young children were forced to fight against the Ugandan government, Helen illustrates an understanding of good and evil. Specifically, she states, "I didn't belong here. I'm a student, not a rebel. I hadn't chosen to fight the government. I chosen to go to school. What kind of people put guns in their hands? What kind of people put guns in the hands of students and force students to use these same guns against other students? This was not right. I was tired and I didn't want to be here. In this moment, Helen understands that it takes a vile person to manipulate these kids into embodying something that is opposite of their nature. Also, this moment made me wonder if the other child soldiers ever questioned the morality of their adult leaders, or did they fear that questioning was a sign of rebellion? In addition to this, Helen experienced heartbreaking cruelty. Specifically, Helen states, First Major Legume decided we would learn that our bodies did not belong to us and should not be sheltered from pain. He said that soldiers needed to get used to pain, to break off, separate that part of our brains and connected pain with feeling that separate that part of our brain that connected pain with feeling, tears, and weakness. Each one of us had a caner, one who beat us, a beater, an energetic young man who relished what he did. The cane came down on our bodies, swinging through the air, smarting and cutting our bottom into our bottoms, thighs, and backs. Reading this honestly still feels so gory. Despite being forced into a life of exile and violence, Helen's desire for an education and bright future is unwavered. She refuses to settle with her current reality, and for these reasons, I admire Helen. After reading Helen's story, it is clear that she is an example of strength. Even though the novel briefly introduces Maggie, the novel points to the horrific things that she experienced and had to witness. Specifically, on page 73 to 76, Maggie witnesses the brutality of an innocent civilian who committed the offense of riding a bike. The erratic decision of the soldiers to cut off his leg not only is a trauma point for Maggie, but commences her feelings of hopelessness. Reason being, Maggie did not have the ability to interfere and save the innocent civilian from brutality. I find this moment in the novel an excellent addition because the author doesn't shy away from the reality that children were forced to normalize and sometimes mimic cruel behavior. I encourage you to read or reread Maggie's story and reflect on the reality that many kids who were forced into war have a hopeless and vile perception of the world. So the most heartbreaking experience of this entire novel for me is Lucia's. Lucia's narration not only encompasses the life of a female child soldier, but the life of a child who underwent the forced and premature process of adultification. To avoid relaying the horrific experience of Lucia, Lucia's statement perfectly encapsulates her experience, which states, Our role as girls, we were told, was to take care of the homes. We were going to be mothers of the next generation of Icholi people, unspoiled by the corruption and the sins of present-day Uganda. We needed to understand our responsibility and our privilege. I don't want to spend too much time on Lucia's story because it is heavy and triggering. So overall, I enjoyed the book We the Kindling, and I highly recommend that you read it if you want to understand the realities of what being a Ugandan child soldier. Obviously, the story cannot capture or allude to all the real stories of Ugandan child soldiers, but it does a great job in giving you a snippet of this through fictionalized lives. I want to note and emphasize, that there are moments in the novel that can be triggering. Overall, this book is amazing, and I look forward to more literary work from Otoniya Bitek. And she's Canadian. Well, she's Ugandan Canadian. So she's amazing, an amazing writer, and I really recommend her. Yesterday, they released the finalists of the 2025 National Book Awards. So to start, I want to congratulate all the finalists of the 2025 National Book Awards. It is really great to see BIPOC authors and writers as the finalists. So the list has also made me discover some new books that I'm going to add to my reading list. So I definitely encourage you guys to check out the finalists, and hopefully you guys you know, are inspired and like one of the books that one of the books that you see on the list and are interested in reading it or put adding it to your reading list for this year for next year. But I totally recommend you checking out the list. And I was also pleased to see that the book One Day Everyone will have Always Been Against Us by Omar El-Akkad made it on the list. So I'm actually planning on doing a review on it, which I'm excited about. So sometime next week or the week after, I'm going to be doing a review on the book. One day everyone will have always been against this. I'm so excited to do this review, and I hope you are too. Um, yeah, so excited to do the review. So today, we've come to the end of today's episode, and let me know what your thoughts are on the book Weave the Kindling. I know it's a heavy topic, and I know it's not a topic where, you can like have your cinnamon tea or your cinnamon coffee or cinnamon cappuccino in this beautiful fall weather and relax in a beautiful story. But sometimes it's also good to you know, read about stories that are inspired by true events so that we have an understanding of the different experiences of humanity. So yeah, I encourage you guys all to give this book a read. Let me know if you have read it and what your thoughts are, and let me know if you're planning on getting the book too. So I also wanted to ask you guys a question. So I am planning on doing a review on The 100 Years War in Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. But I also want to do the review on One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar El-Akkad. So if you guys can help me decide which review I should release first, that'd be greatly appreciated because both books um are phenomenal, and I'm not sure which one to review first. So please help me out with that. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day, and I hope you guys remember to make time for reading. And yeah, I look forward to speaking with you guys next week with either the review of the 100 Years War in Palestine or One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against Us. Anyways, I hope you guys have a beautiful day, a great day, and make time for reading. We make time for social media and all this other stuff. Let's make time for reading. So, yeah, bye.